前は
Hey guys, it's Echo, and today we're going to be talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. We're going to be diving into its lore, its general appeal, what made it work, its strengths, its weaknesses, stuff like that. And as I do my best to go through the list and give you my honest opinion about what made Horizon Zero Dawn a successful IP for Sony, I ask that you follow me as we take a crack at that. So now, as of the recording of this video, Horizon Zero Dawn has raked in 10 million sales worldwide. Those are pretty huge numbers for a new IP. I mean, even personally, that's more than astounding for a new IP if you ask me. But I mean, it's no God of War or Spider-Man. Both have already fans, and they're already fan favorites due to their previous popularity. And as a new IP, 10 million copies is without a doubt a great number. So now, leaving that aside and focusing on the topic of why we came here, I mean, the success is one of the things that made it work. But that aside, as someone with fresh eyes, and by fresh eyes, I mean somebody that didn't even know the game was hype back then. So I just went in with a fresh mindset. I wasn't expecting, oh my goodness, this game better blow me away, stuff like that. I just came in to see what it was all about. So now, the first things that people usually look for is a game rating. And while I'm not a big fan of IGN's rating, I mean, it still matters no matter what I think about it. And as you can see, it's a 9.4 on IGN, and it's an 89 on Metacritic, with a critic review of about 8.4. Now, see, I personally believe that user reviews hold more weight than a critic review, as I believe people who look for games to buy, not just parents buying the kids' games or critics trying to churn out a review as soon as possible. I feel like those are the people that, actually played and spent time with the game. And so those are the people that I put more weight to. Obviously, there are people that are there for bad faith, saying different stuff about the game that are obviously not true. I mean, maybe it is true to them. Maybe they're just biased, but there's that too. But like I said, the user reviews, it's still quite an accomplishment. It's 8.4 as a new IP for user review. That's pretty good. And with the games, the review battle comes in. People over on this side saying, oh no, it should be higher. Some people over on this side saying, it's not really worth it. They're different sides of the argument. So now, I mean, you have guys like this who give it a 0 out of 10, and then also run along and give Zelda Breath of the Wild, which was released around the same time, a 10 out of 10. It might be coincidental, but if those are his only ratings, there is only 2 ratings. So please forgive me if I don't think it is. I think it's on purpose. And then you have this guy who says there's nothing wrong with the game. Oh my goodness, it's perfecto. It's 10 out of 10. It can't be better even if it tried. And that's wrong too, personally speaking, my opinion. That's wrong too. And then you also have guys like this who have literally no other rating in the entire site, apart from giving Horizon Zero Dawn a 0 out of 10. And then there's guys like this. I mean, that speaks for itself. Pretty much that speaks for itself. But now, past the ratings and pass into the actual game itself, going through the actual game itself, Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that I personally feel takes things from different RPGs, puts them into one, and simplifies it for the newcomer. I mean, you have the crafting system. There are RPGs where the crafting system is quote-unquote a chore. Because I say that because some people might not think it's a chore. Some people like a more intricate crafting system. And then there's some other people that don't want that. They just want, oh, this is what I need. This is what I need. Okay, let me make what I need, quick, as fast as possible. And so Horizon Zero Dawn's crafting system is pretty basic. It's pretty basic, but it's not about it being basic or not. Does it work for the game? is it good with the game? Does it work with the product? That's the main thing. That's the main question. And the answer to that question is yes, it does work for the product. It does work for the game. It works perfectly. You can be mid-battle and run out of arrows. And you just pull up the crafting wheel section. Craft whatever stuff you need. Arrows, tripwire, anything you need. You just craft it on the fly, mid-fight. And so that kind of saves you from pulling you away from the action for a while and kind of dulling your spirits, if you understand what I mean. So it saves you from that, and at the same time you still get what you want as fast as you can possibly get it. So you go from the crafting wheel back into the fight, and possibly seconds at best. Seconds at best. It's not like it's some super intricate design. I mean, sure, it's oversimplified and some people might hate that, but it's not really what they hate or like. It's because if maybe, I'm saying this hypothetically, if it was a more complex crafting system, it might not have worked for the game, and we'll never know that because it never happened. Maybe if there's a sequel and something like that happens, maybe, but till then, we can never know. We're only going to be speculating on what we have, and what we do have is a crafting system that works for the game. And then another thing, like the most obvious thing that I think anybody that has played the game has seen, is the graphics are beautiful. There's no argument about that. Anybody that says otherwise is they either haven't played the game, or they're just saying it to be controversial, or maybe they're just stupid. I don't know about that last one. Maybe not. What I am saying is it is possible. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back to the topic. The graphics are beautiful, plain and simple. The detailing is amazing. The colors are vibrant. Like, there's any zone you are in Horizon Zero Dawn, from the desert to the snowy mountains to the forest, anywhere you are, like, it is what it is. It is beautiful. That for sure it is. Even the machines are incredibly detailed. Personally speaking, there are some screenshots that I took and I was like, this isn't, to me, hey, maybe you have a different standard. That's fine. Nobody's saying you can't have a different standard. But what I'm saying is, the game is beautiful. That is, it can't be argued. It's a fact. The game is beautiful. And each biome it just looks so real for itself. Like, you could go from, and each biome they all mesh well together, and which I think is really amazing. Like, you can go from the snowy mountains, right? Or let's start from the Nora Tribe place. You could go from the kind of snowy place. It's kind of snow. It's some forest in there. You could go from there over to the Death Horde. Not the Death Horde. The Grave Horde. You could go from there to the Grave Horde, and you can see, oh my goodness, this is really pretty. It's a lot of pretty ice. It's a lot of beautiful ice. It's a lot of nice looking ice. Kind of feels like I'm hyping the game, but I'm really not. If you've played the game, or like you've seen a couple screenshots of the graphics of the game with that place, I'll try and put some on the screen of the snowy biome. But like, you look at it and you see it and you know it's beautiful. You know the developers took your time in it. They took their time in making this, and this is from Guerrilla Games, and they're known for their, pretty looking games. At the very least, that's the least you could say for the Killzone games. They are pretty good looking and they have good mechanics. The story might not be the best. The gameplay might not be the best for the Guerrilla Games, but they got their stuff done when it comes to graphics. Plain and simple. And moving on from that, apart from the graphics, the story. Personally, I feel the best thing about Horizon Zero Dawn is the story. I mean, you might not be so interested in it at the beginning. You could just be like, okay, it's the story. Let's see where this goes. And like, if you keep playing for a while, and you actually follow the story, and you can do some optional side quests. I personally feel side quests are a weakness to the game because they're generally the same thing, more or less. Personally, if you ask me, I feel side quests are generally the same thing. You could go here. I mean, not all the time. I'm gonna admit, not all the time. Like, say, okay, so there was this side quest where you had to save a guy on an isolated rock. I'm not gonna call that an island. It's a rock, a piece of rock. Anyway, you go there, and at that point in time in the game, because I deviated from the story, I had never come across a snap maw. So I went there with my strider. I saw a snap maw going around the lake of the place. I'm like, what? What is that? I've never seen that. Is that a crocodile? Wow. And so that was one thing. That kind of like, it hit me different because it was not the previous side quests were really, you go here, you do this, you get this, fight this guy. But I mean, that's kind of the same thing. But you really don't have to fight the snap maw if you can make it away from there. Oh, okay, I mean you do, because of the way the guy acts. But that's his own choice. And there's also another mission where I went to the forest. I had to go look for somebody. And that was when I came across the stalker. If I didn't see the stalker then, I would have come across it in another cauldron. That's what they're called. I was trying to remember the name. I'm sorry about that. But I would have seen it in the cauldron and not there. And that kind of gave me like a heads up. Okay, this is what you're going to be going up against. And it was a forest. And there were multiple of them. So I had to, adjust to new enemies that could go invisible. And you could not track. So the game, like I was saying, I went off track, way off track. That's so surprising. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, like I was saying, the story, to me, even though the graphics are amazing, the story is the best part about the game. Because once you start off, you're not really that invested. But if you keep playing the story, at some point you're going to be like, what's going to happen next? How did this happen? What happened to Aloy? How is Aloy here? What is this? Is Aloy you're going to be asking stuff like that. It's only natural. And there were no spoilers. I did my best to make sure there were no spoilers. Maybe not. But there were no spoilers. I promise you that. And you're going to be like, okay, I see. But then how did they stop the Pharaoh Blade? How did they stop these people? What happened? Did this happen? You're gonna be making guesses. I mean, some people say, "Oh, I saw the plot twist coming 1,000 miles away." But I'm like, come on, stop lying, man. It's nothing special to see a plot twist. Okay? There's no need to lie. The story is pretty great. It's amazing. I'm saying this as I have not finished God of War and Spider-Man. So far, I've gone through them. So far in the story, I would actually say God of War. Let me shut up. Anyway, like I was saying, the story is pretty amazing. It's the best thing. Personally speaking, it's the best thing about the game. If you ask me, it's the best thing about the game. And the second best thing is the graphics. And third is the controls. They're amazing. They fit with it so well. They fit with it so perfectly. So now, at the same time, a strength could be a weakness. Like I said, some people might not like the crafting system. Some might. The side quests are the weakness of the game. Plain and simple. There's no argument about that. The side quests are really... After a while, they get really repetitive. And if you play the game and you're honest with yourself, they do get repetitive after a while. So I guess they could fix that. But I don't know. They should fix that because it's really weak. After a while, it's halfway through the game. Some people even before that. The story of the side quest is interesting. But the actual thing you do, you just go somewhere and you just fight a monster. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Anyway, and another strength of the game is the variety of the enemies. You could go from a Thunderjaw to a Stalker to a Snap Maw, to a Behemoth, to a Strider, to a Longhorn, to a Charger. The the variety of the enemies are amazing. There are a lot of enemies that do a lot of different things, like the Snap Maw. It can fire out ice and at the same time lunges. Like I said, the first time I was fighting the Snap Maw, I did not, because I was fighting it from afar. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. You ain't gonna come out the water. And it just stepped out the water. I was like, what? Okay, so I was like, okay, whatever. Step out the water. I'm gonna step back and still kill you from afar. And this thing lunged at me. I was like, what the what? Why are you jumping? Don't lunge. Don't stay where you are. That was what was going through my head. I was like, stay where you are, man. Don't come here. What the is wrong with you? Stick to your programming. And then you have the Stalkers, where if they start taking damage, they're out of there, bro. I mean, if you don't down them before that, or, stuff like that, change them. But anyway, let me shut up. And then you have the Thunderjaw, which is just battles with them are always moi. I feel like overall, my personal opinion overall, given the game, is it's not a 10. There are things to work on. I would personally agree with the user rating. It's an 8 at the very least, and then I probably won't even give it a 9, because a 9 is kind of high. I'm not going to give it a 9. It might be close to a 9, but it's not going to be a 9. But that's just me. But at the end of the day, Horizon Zero Dawn, it's an experience that you're going to want to get back to. Like, even if it's just to look at the amazing graphics and the gameplay. And because at some point I stopped playing the story because I didn't want the story to end. I did not want the story to end. So I just stopped it for a while, and then I went to do a whole bunch of side missions, because I was like, if I finish this game, the story's going to end. I don't want the story to end. That might be just a personal preference, because I feel like the story is the best thing about the game and nothing else. Like, after the story's number one in the game, it was just marvelous. Plain and simple. From the beginning to the end, the realization of everything that happened. And it just begs new questions still. I mean, no spoilers, but like, there's something in the game that they could probably make into a game of its own, like a short game of its own, or a movie, or an animation, or something, and it's still gonna be amazing on its own. And that's just a caveat. That's just a part of the general story of Horizon Zero Dawn. So personally speaking, I will agree with the user score on Metacritic, like an 8.4, 8.5. That kind of thing. That's, I think, where it stands at. But that's my opinion. It's the opinion. So let me know what you think. If you like the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think down in the comment section.